Or should I say praise the Lord and good morning? It's good to be back after a small break. As Brother Tom has said, we're going to study about man. Since we are human beings, why we need to study about us? Everybody knows, at least himself and herself. So a deep study about man, you may think not necessary, but you will be surprised to know that most people do not know themselves. Who am I? That question puzzles people. Who am I? I think some things about me. You think something else about me. God will be thinking something altogether different. So the question, who am I? It's a big question. Yes. Great men of God has, wondered about it. Immanuel Kant, the great theologian who lived a couple of centuries past, went into a garden, public garden. He sat there in a bench. From the time the garden opened, he sat there until the garden was to be closed. The watchman went and asked him, "Sir, you have been sitting here all day on this bench. It's time to close it. Who are you?" And Immanuel Kant said, "That's what I have been thinking all day." See, it's something that you have to think all day, who are you? And that's true, Yes, only the Bible can answer the question, who am I or who are you? Nobody else. Only the Maker can answer, who is man? So that's a big question. Hopefully, as a result of this study, we will be able to get a closer understanding, a deeper understanding of who man is. Man is a unique person. Probably the most controversial person. All the problems in the world basically are created man. And of course, most of the blessings also are the work of his hands. So a proper study about man is, very necessary. The study of man is called anthropology. Because anthropos in the Greek language means man and logos means word or teaching. So anthropology is the study or the doctrine of man. That's what our subject is. And this study includes creation, probation, fall. It includes also topics about man's body, soul, spirit. But it does not include topics like regeneration, sanctification, etc. They all come under another topic called soteriology. Why it is added under soteriology? Because that is entirely what God does for us. We have basically no part other than just accepting what God does. So we are studying all about ourselves. God created man marvelously. You ever wondered about yourself standing before a mirror, looking at your image? how marvelous you are, how marvelously God had made you. The psalmist and other writers have spoken about it. Marvelously created. They did not have medical sciences advanced very far like it is today. They didn't know very much about the anatomy of man as much as it is known, or the physiology of man. But yet the psalmist and others said that, was wonderfully created in the secret places. When my bones were formed in the belly of my mother, God had seen everything. They knew that God is the only one who had seen the details of man. So we needed to study about man, and actually then we needed to be amazed about man, and as a result of our study we need to come back to God and say thank you. You are a great creator. Just to take a little part that God made, like the eyes maybe. The ophthalmology and the ophthalmologist and all that things, how many years it takes to study the eye. Or even the skin, the dermatologist, how much study going on there. The dentist, how many subdivisions there. Every part of man, that all we are talking about the external part, the outward part. But what about the mind? Has anybody really understood how the mind works? You look at a little child, newly born child, the child smiles and then frowns. People have come up with all kinds of explanations. Angels may be coming to them, or maybe a little demon trying to trouble them, because the little innocent children, infant babies, they smile so beautiful. Why are they smiling? You go to the anatomy lab, sometimes you can see in the glass bottles, 6 and 7 month old fetuses cut and kept there. I have seen little children sucking their thumb in those glass bottles, 7 month old child sucking the thumb. And psychologists say that you suck the thumb because you have emotional needs not met. So what emotional need the child is having when the child is in the womb of the mother? No wonder the psalmist said that God has created me, so marvelously, so beautifully. The mystery, man is a mystery really. The sad thing or the good thing, and the sad thing is that man trying to find out all about man without the Creator, that's a sad thing. The good thing is that only man can study man. No animal will come and say that I will study. Even no angel has ever offered to write a book on anthropology. It's all man. No cow study itself, no elephant study itself. We have to do the study for them. That itself shows that only man has the capacity to think critically, to examine, to investigate, to research. Animals don't do research. Yes, monkeys will be doing some research upon the tree, but that's a research for some survival, But man, does what all studies. Yeah. The subjects under the study of man, some of those subjects even we don't know what they are, It's so vast, so deep. Yes. So man is a unique creation. He must have a unique creator. So intricately made. If I can write my biography, if anybody will read it, You know, usually it's a bunch of lies that people, autobiographies are a bunch of lies people write it to make themselves a little better than they are. It's everybody's desire that they wanted to, people think they are better than what, they have known. So some secrets they will say. But the thing is, only God can write a biography of man. And He has done it in the Bible. So we cannot go to any scientific books, sociologist book on anthropology, and to find out what man is. We have to go to the Bible, the Word of God. Let the Creator speak for the creature. Let the Creator tell us how He has made us and what we are. So this is a big question, what is man? What is man? Yes, the writers of the book said, what is man that you may be mindful of him? What is man? But God says that if there is an idol of God on the earth, it is man. Because God said, let us make man in our image. The God who said, don't make any image, He made one image of Him. Said, that's enough. Yes. Man is not allowed to make any more images. God created an idol. If anybody wants to know who God is like, look at man. But the problem is, today looking at man, we cannot know who God is because man is a sinner. He sinned. It is just like a broken mirror. You pick it up, it dropped it from your hand. It was so beautiful glass mirror. You could see your image in it so clearly, but it fell down, broken into 100 pieces. It's still inside the frame. You take it, pick it up and look your image in it. What do you see? See that it's a perverted image. So looking at man today, we cannot know who God is. No. But we can know one thing, that He must be far, far greater, superior, more intelligent, more powerful than man is. Now, considering all that man is doing, what is man doing? He is only examining what God has made. Call it inventions. No, there are no inventions, only discoveries. Man go around and discover something God has made. What inventions man make? When he finds out that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, is that an invention or a discovery? He only discovers it. So really there are no inventions, because man is using the basic materials God made and he is analyzing it or synthesizing it. That's what it is. Of course, man calls it, he feels he is very big. In today's newspaper, there were 3 pictures of the most intelligent people in the world. The middle one is a little girl, 16-year-old, more intelligent than Einstein and the other man. What is his name? Stephen Hawking. Yes. She has already gone. Her IQ is far higher than both of them. So even in spite of that, what she will do, what she will understand about this universe. Hawkins, with all his understanding, has said that, there is no God. That's what he has found out. Einstein didn't say there is no God, Einstein, of course, believed there is something, but he didn't know about God either. So only God can tell us who we are, what we are, why we are made, why we behave the way we are behaving. Where did things go wrong? How things could be made right. And all these things, in a sense, is part of the study. Of course, as I said, soteriology takes care of our salvation part. It is not included because it's a work of God today, not part of man's work. God has created man uniquely. 6 days God created everything else. He created the material world, the heavens, the earth, and all that contains. And then God said, let us make man. Let us make man. But He didn't stop there. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. He was doing the creation for 6 days. Until the first half of the 6th day, He created the animals and all that. So He never said, let us make animals in our image. He even didn't say, let us make angels in our image. He may have made angels in His image. I am not saying they are not, but no such statement is there. The statement we have is only about man. Let us make man in our image, in our own likeness let us make. So even that very statement tells us that the creation of man was a deliberate act, well thought through act, well thought through. When the triune God consulted and decided or said, let us make man, it was not an accident. It was not a, thought of the last moment. Hey, we got half a day left. We have been doing, half a day left. Should we do something? Yeah. Why don't we make a man? No, it was not like that. Actually, God was making everything for man 6 days. Everything for man. God first made a beautiful place for man to live in. Then only He made man. He didn't make a man and then asked him, hey, you think you need a place? No, He didn't. He made everything in detail for man. Then He said, let us make man. You know why God didn't make man first? He has no place to live. Yes, that's a good answer. Yeah. Man would have taken credit for everything that was made. He definitely will say that, I and God, we together made it. Yes. I and God, we together made it. We are of the nature that we'll take credit even for. Yes. Right. So if God made man first, yes. Yes. So God said, I'll make man last. Yes. God can take credit, but the image of God cannot take credit. That will be like you have taken bath and you combed your hair and you dress yourself. You stand before a mirror and look, and then the image in the mirror says, see how beautiful I made you. You think of that, the mirror speaking to you. Hey, I made you this pretty, you know that? Well, that doesn't make very much sense. So God knew what man would do, so He made man last. Of course, man needed a place to live. That's a good answer too. He needed food to eat. So many things. Our God is so gracious. He did not give an opportunity, room for the wrong temptation. Also, He did not, put man in a vacuum. No, He created a place. Even He made a nice garden, Think of that. Did He command a garden to come up? Or He only commanded the tree to come up and then He plucked those trees and planted one by one, arranged it in such a way nicely. The 2 trees in the center. And, rivers flowing all 4 sides. All those things. God is a marvelous, artist, master artist. He designed everything so beautifully. Everything for man. Everything for man. Yes. So, the creation of God, creation of man by God is not any afterthought. No, it's not. It's not an afterthought. It's a deliberate, purposeful, intelligent, thinking of God according to His purpose. Let us make man in our image. And God made man. It's amazing and beautiful. If we can improve the creation of God in some way, man, what would you do? If you are given a chance, God says, hey, you want to improve man, what would you do? Once a man said that I would have put a flap on my, for the ears. So when somebody talk unnecessary things, I can just, Well, the only time you pull the flap will be when good things will be said. Yeah, definitely. If gospel is preached, man will turn it off. Yeah, God, you cannot improve. God's creation of man is so nicely designed. Everything is created in such beauty and such harmony. Nobody can improve, on the creation, because man is created in the image of God. It's not talking about the external part, the physical part, but the mental part. Man reflects certain things about God. God's personality, God's spirituality, God's ability, intelligence, God's presence, and all those things. So when we start out to study a man, we are really, we should really do it with a great reverence, because we are operating upon the most important creation of God, We are, our study is kind of an operation, surgery. We are taking them apart and see how God has put it and how it is functioning and how reverently we need to do it, I think if somebody is operating upon, an evil person, bad character who has done so much damage for 1 minute. Hello? No. Oh, it's my brother calling me. Just don't worry. That's okay. If somebody is operating upon, some bad characters who has done so much damage to humanity, doctors will say that this guy, But if somebody is operating upon some great personality like Einstein or even some great scientist like that, how careful the scientist will be, because if anything goes wrong, the whole world will, will be asking questions. The same way, when we are studying man, we ought to be so careful, because if anything goes wrong, if anything we say wrongly, that great God will say that, you stupid guy, that's not what I did. Don't speak for me. If you want to speak, speak it right. Otherwise, keep quiet, But yet, God has given us the ability, not the freedom necessarily, to speak. So people have spoken. And you will be surprised what all nonsense people have spoken. Yes. And unless we base all our studies on the Bible, there is no way we can actually study man correctly. So with great reverence, we need to go to the Bible, for our studies. Yes. Man's creation, some say, was man created as a primitive creature, or man was created as the most advanced creature? The anthropologist will say about the Stone Age man, the Iron Age man, the Copper Age man, and all that sort of divisions. What do you think? God made man in the primitive stage? Or he made him very advanced, and because of sin man had gone down and down and down? See, that's the difference. If you study the Bible, use Bible as the basis for study, then you know that man was created perfect. Where most advanced design and creation. Any weakness you find today in man is a result of man committing sin and forgetting the Creator. God made man the most perfect way. So there was no primitive, uncivilized, uncultured state in man. Man was the most perfect creation when he was made. And all the things happened, he had no sicknesses, no mental problems. God didn't have to create a hospital before creating man and a psychiatric unit, all that came afterwards, Actually, only man needs a psychiatric case, hospital today. You go to the veterinary science, medical veterinary college, there is no department of psychology, psychiatry and all that. They have anatomy and physiology, animal physiology and all that, but no psychiatric department for animals, because they don't have a mind. If you don't have a mind, you don't have mental problems, right? Yes. But man was created so perfectly, and man's problems we find today, are not the result of God, it is the result of man. Man tried to improve man against God's will. Man tried to improve man against God's will, and the moment he touched it, it went wrong. If any one of us will improve some of the painting of Michelangelo or some of the other great painters, you think you will improve it or you will? Now, no sensible person will. You may critique, the art critic say that he should have used this kind of paint there, it should have been a hard stroke than a soft one and all that, but you try to do it, you spoil it. The price of that art piece will go dramatically down. That's what happened. The value of man has gone down dramatically because man thought he will add a little paint here, little paint there, so use this chisel little bit here and there, and he has spoiled it. He has spoiled it. In spite of the fact there is nothing better than man. Man still remains the greatest of God's creations. Yes. So anthropology, involves a study of what man is and what man becomes under ordinary arrangement of the Creator. What he is by creation and what he made himself by self-determination, and all those things will come under our study. Definitely man was created unique and perfect, yet man was put under a probation. We know that. And because of man's failure in the probation, the apostasy came, sin came. Sin means, it's always going, down and down. It's not pulling you up. So today we have a man, we cannot even imagine looking at the present man what it was when God created. The thinking pattern changed. Worshipping pattern changed. Even the physical, what was Adam look like? What was his color? How tall was he? How much he weighed? We even have no idea. What is? We'll study about it. We'll study about it, yes. Anyway, your probation is over. So, you can sit easily. It was mankind's probation, and yes. God said, the day you eat, you shall. It was a probation. 6 months' time, any mistake you do, you will be out. And man was put in the Garden of Eden, the most beautiful, perfect place, paradise, if you want to call it. The Bible never calls Garden of Eden paradise. It's only Milton who called it Paradise Lost. Yes. But yet, paradise in Persian language means garden. That's what it is. So, that Paradise he was there in, and he lost it. The moment he sinned, out. That was a probation. He's out of his job. He was there to keep the garden, tend the garden, enjoy the garden. Thousands of fruit trees and all animals there. And I think the rivers flowing all around. Plenty of fish there for man to eat. And even we read that there was gold there. That gold was the finest gold.